Hello everyone, welcome to Decoding Quirks. I'm your host Aditi, and today's guest really doesn't need an introduction. She is an RJ on the Kris Fade Show here in Dubai, and she's a role model to all us brown girls. I am so excited because she wakes us up with her amazing voice. Very, very excited to decode some quirks with her. So, welcome, Priti Malik.
Hello, how are you?
How are you? Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. This is great. I'm like cozy.
Yeah, exactly,
I'm
cozy
very
corner of
cozy.
Dubai.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, so before we all started this, we
Yeah.
were talking about, somehow we were talking about Bombay.
Traffic in Bombay.
Bombay! Because I know I saw on your Instagram that you went to
Yeah,
Bombay.
yeah.
And I spent like half my time in Bombay as well.
Right.
And then we were like, where in
Yeah,
Bombay? Where
it's
are we?
very important
Exactly.
because otherwise you don't have a reference point. Like if
Yeah.
you've never been to that part of Bombay, then you have zero reference. It's as if you've never been there.
And Bombay's huge.
Huge.
And like from which area in Bombay you stay in, you're just like, you could be like
Worlds apart.
worlds apart
Yeah.
and you're having a different experience.
Yes, completely. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think initially Bombay is like there's the word bay in Bombay. You
Yeah.
need to be on the near the coast.
Yeah.
You need to see the sea.
Yeah.
But Bombay has become so big that people actually like take holidays to come and actually see the sea.
Yes, yes.
It's insane. So it's like so big. And then we were talking about Bandra.
Yeah, I love that area so much.
Favorite
It's
place.
so nice. Anytime anyone says, "Do you want to go to Bombay?" my answer is always yes. I love that city. I think it's because it's so close to New York. Like it feels the same as New York when I'm there. So it's like a home away from home that's only 2.5 hours away, as opposed to like 13 hours away. You know?
Oh my God, I always say that. I was like, it's a combination.
Yeah.
I've not been to New York. I've been
Okay.
to LA. So I always say it's a combination of New York and LA. LA because of the whole Bollywood Hollywood
Yeah, yeah,
scene.
yeah.
So it has like Bollywood over there.
Yeah.
Thus, LA.
Yeah.
But also New York because it's so cool.
Yeah, it's like fast paced. No one really cares what you're doing with your life. As long as you're not in their way, they really don't care. And you could do whatever you want and just chill and just literally just live your life and no one will really bother you.
That is also one of the main reasons why I chose Bandra. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I'm not moving back to Bombay. I am moving back to Bandra. And there's a
Yeah.
very big difference here. Very big, because you can do what you want to do. You can dress up, you can dress down.
Yeah.
You can be in athleisure. You can wear Lululemon and have your
Yeah.
Veronica coffee. You can do
Yeah.
all of that. You can cycle, you can walk.
Yeah.
And everyone is just really like not in your way.
Yeah.
And you can be open.
Yeah.
It's accepting.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying, like no one is really bothered about what you're doing or where you're from as long as you're not messing with whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
If you don't get in their way, they really don't get in your way, which is the vibe that I immediately got like the first time when I went to Bombay, which is why I think I love it.
I have to I feel like I convince people about this because I'm just
Really?
like, initially I was just
No,
like,
I feel like it's an instant vibe. If you're not getting that, I don't think you're paying attention to the city.
yeah, or maybe you've experienced something so,
Better,
yeah.
maybe.
Or really high-end luxury, like,
Maybe, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I feel like that's the instant vibe you get.
I love the street rawness of it.
Yeah.
Even though half the roads are constantly dug up,
Yeah. Gosh, even I went 2 weeks ago. I don't think I've ever seen
Yeah.
this much construction in the city in a long time. Like I'm not from there, obviously, but like I visit often enough to be like, what is happening?
yeah.
There's holes everywhere.
There's holes everywhere. We are constantly complaining, but we're just like, I won't go anywhere other than Bandra.
Exactly.
And that's why all the rents have increased. So it's
Yeah.
just like everybody knows you want to be there.
It is what it is.
It's crazy. But yeah, so I didn't grow up in Bandra. I grew up in Colaba, in town, when
Oh,
we were
okay.
talking about
Yeah.
that. So I grew up in town. I was born in Dubai. I grew up in town. And then I came back to Dubai to like work and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I think when COVID happened, I realized, okay, I can do Zoom, great. I want to spend more time with my family. So I've been doing the up and down, where
Right.
Bombay is like constantly home now. And when I come back to Dubai, there are so many things that I miss about Dubai.
What's the first thing?
For me, it's the clean air.
I was just gonna say. I was like, I literally knew clean would be the first thing you say.
Clean. Also, like just great bathrooms everywhere.
Yes.
It's-
Yes. Dude, when I go home to New York, I think about the same thing. Same thing.
Why? Why is
I
it
don't
that
know.
way?
I don't know.
Like, what are people doing? Also, yeah, but why?
I really have no idea. I don't know why this is a thing.
Yeah.
But the UAE's figured it out.
They
So why
figured
can't other places figure it out too?
exactly.
I
Just
don't
can
know.
we have like clean bathrooms? I'm just asking for this
Yeah,
much.
that's it.
That's
Literally, that's it.
exactly.
Basic.
I went to SF San Francisco
Yeah.
in June 2024, and I was surprised that this time it was better from the last time that I went, but it was still a struggle. Like we would ask each other, like all the girls around, like, is the bathroom clean? Can we
Yes.
go? Is it fine? And like here, you don't even think about it. You're just like, yeah,
Yeah, of
I'll be
course.
back.
Like even the gas stations are clean.
Exactly.
Like which is
Exactly.
yeah.
So yeah, clean is one thing. Safe.
Yeah, biggest thing.
Safe.
Yeah, I say it all the time. I mean, it just happened the other day. I went to Mall of the Emirates. I shopped. I don't know if you saw it on my Instagram. I shopped. I did everything. I sat down for a coffee. I then spent another 30 minutes in the mall after the coffee. Went home. So it's been like an hour, maybe an hour and a half by now. Then I'm like, I was looking for something like a lip gloss or something in my bag. And I was like, where's my bag? Checked the car, not there. And I was like, I left it at the mall. And I just drove back and there it was. There's my bag. And I was telling my sister and she goes, oh my gosh, you left it in the mall. And she's like, you got it back? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, with all the contents inside? Yes. I didn't even check because I knew in my heart.
Yeah.
Only when she said it, I was like, oh, maybe I should check. I was like, of course, everything exactly the way I left it, you know?
That's so
Yeah.
true. That's so true. Like here in Dubai, I was waiting for someone. I was just picking her up from, like, I told her to meet me at a certain place.
Yeah.
And I kept all my bags, my water bottle, my phone, everything on the bench. And I have walked like almost like 100 meters, picked her up, and I've come back. And
Yeah.
everything is there.
This is not to say go and leave your things.
No, I know.
Please, because someone started commenting going, you shouldn't really promote this and this. I was like, guys, I'm from New York. Listen, I know.
Yeah.
I've ridden subways. I know what the deal is.
Yeah.
It's just that there's a lot of trust in the city. There's a lot of trust in the country. And I think we look at life a little differently here as opposed to maybe other places.
And it takes away that filter, right?
Yeah.
When you're like subconsciously not worried about your safety and you're
Yeah.
subconsciously not worried
Yeah.
about constantly being attacked or looked at or being
Yeah.
robbed, which I'm doing back home in Bandra.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, also that's one of the safest places over there, but still I'm doing it.
Of course.
When that subconscious filter is taken away, you can show up in your life so much better.
So much. That constant worry isn't there. Absolutely. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference. I go for runs at 5:30 in the morning when it's dark by myself through the quietest streets. No one is there. With just headphones, blaring loud. I don't have any mace, keys, nothing on me. And I'm just running. And all my friends back home are like, I am jealous that you can do that.
It's a
true.
privilege.
It is a huge privilege. I would never be able to do that back home. I would have to go in the daytime, have to go in areas where there are loads of people, can't go on a street that's empty. I have to make sure I have everything with me, wear a hat, make sure I don't have any jewelry on me, and go for this run.
Be as invisible as possible.
Absolutely.
And I think that's also like a wider topic, right? Because generally, as women, we have been told, and that narrative has been there to be as invisible, be as quiet,
Yeah.
be blend. Don't stand out, but blend. And I think, again, because that worry is taken away from you, like, oh, Dubai is safe, so I can stand out.
Yeah.
That shows up in the kind of quality of women over here.
Yeah, for sure.
And like I keep hearing these traumatic dating histories and dating stories in Dubai. And when I sit to decode it, I'm like, do the women here show up?
Yeah.
The quality of women are increasing and increasing because that filter, that subconscious
Yeah.
fear filter has been taken away from them.
Yeah, exactly.
They show up, the quality is increasing. And thus the quality of men are just the same, right? So then I was like, of course there's going to be that difference. Of course there's going to be that conflict.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. Women are just showing up more.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
So anyone who's been in like Dubai and as I said, even in Bombay, people are showing up over there. Like there are some places that are safe. If you're doing both, great.
Yeah.
Like you can see the difference.
Yeah.
Women are like showing up and I love that. And we don't need to be invisible anymore.
Yeah, I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a cute, yeah. I don't know why I just thought of it that way.
Yeah, I like
but
that.
But yeah, so talking about women being invisible, Are there any narratives that you grew up with because you were also from New York,
Yeah.
which is already like a fast-paced city. It's not backward.
Yeah.
But as an expat, like you were born there, but
Yeah.
you still have like heritage of India.
Well, I'm not an expat.
Yeah, you're not an expat. So.
My parents are expats,
Yeah.
right? So they migrated in the 70s to the States. My sister and I were born and raised there. New York is not a city to be invisible in. No, you're not. You can do whatever you want. That you do whatever you want. You be who you want, and you can be as loud as you want. We just accept it.
And so you don't need to be, or you can't be.
No, it's not that you can't be. I think it's just you choose to be whatever you want to be.
I love
Like
that.
if you want to be quiet, reserved, and not really be involved in anything, great. If you want to be out there, loud, you want to wear ball gowns every single day because you feel that's your vibe, you do it. Like, you can express yourself in any which way really that you want. And it's sort of just accepted as a whole in the city.
Okay, so that kind of makes a lot of sense because I saw, so I've been recently seeing a couple of people. A friend of mine also just came from New York. And there's that cringe factor that is not there in some people. And what I mean by cringe is when
Okay.
you want to show up on your Instagram and you want to pivot and do something different.
Okay.
The instant self-doubt is there, like, will it be accepted? Will it not be accepted?
Yeah.
When you want to change something and then you're not great at it immediately. You're doing it, you're good at it. And then it's just like sometimes it comes out cringy. Like I look at my old posts, sometimes I'm like, that was a little cringe, but I would still do it because I want to grow.
Yeah.
That's the background sound, is like, what, just put it out there, you have to grow.
Okay.
But I know I've met some people from Toronto as well and New York, and they've just done it.
Yeah, we don't. It is what it is, guys. Like, you can't.
There's no cringe.
No, because you can't. I feel like I grew up in an environment where creativity was always welcome. I grew up in a very musical family, in a very like jovial family. So it's fine. We're all entertainers, Like I grew up in a family of entertainers. So it's not a big deal. But even my friends who didn't grow up in that environment also, it's fine. It is what it is. I think it also helps if you didn't grow up in the social media era,
Same,
because
yeah.
I don't think you have the same stress when it comes to that kind of stuff as those who have grown up with it always. Like for us, I feel like it can still be removed from our lives and it would still be okay. And although we do place a lot of like validity and validation and stuff on social media, but if it were to be taken away from our generation, I think it would be okay.
Yeah.
We'd still be okay because we've lived without it. But I think with the younger generations, that's all they kind of know. So their validation is solely based upon that sometimes. I'm not saying that's true for everyone, but a lot of it is, I feel like the weight is based on validity. How many followers do you have? How many likes do you have? How many comments did you get? How many shares did it get? Did it go viral? Like a lot of people post to go viral. Like that's their aim. Will it go viral? That's the worry. But I think our generation, because it came so much later, we just kind of did it.
Yeah.
Just to see what would happen.
Just to like be like, I want to put this idea out there.
Yeah, and
so
then
that a
see.
new one is generated.
Correct. So it's almost like, like you're releasing whatever creative idea you had. It's out on the platform. It is what it is, and we move on to the next thing,
Yeah. Just to get better at the next one, figure it out. It's not. So I kind of think of it in the way of like, we're not attached to that reward, and the reward being like the engagement
Yes,
here
yes.
or whatever. So I'm not attached to the reward because I didn't know the reward.
Correct. Yeah. Like for us, when videos started to go viral, we were like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But then that was it.
It
right?
was just a bonus.
Yeah, it was like, oh, that's really cool. Now, saying that, obviously a lot of people, that's their bread and butter. So for them, those numbers matter. And that's okay too. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of that. I just think mentality changes according to the situation. So it just depends on what that account means to you as in terms of livelihood. Is it just for fun? Is it for a purpose? Is it for a brand? Is it for a business? Because then the stakes are higher, right? Then what are you going to say about that? Then your whole world revolves around that. You can't take it away.
Yeah. So do you feel better having the best of both then?
Yeah, I think it's cool that we grew up in a generation completely without computers and phones and stuff, Sometimes I think to myself, like, our parents just let us be in the park all summer vacation without any ways of like checking up on us. And we would just be there. They'd maybe just look out the window to see if the kids, like count how many kids there are, and just that's it. But we'd go to the store and come back. Like I started taking the bus, like the public bus. I'm not talking school bus. Like I'm talking the public bus with like full on adults and like the subway so young. Wow. It's like I can't even with no phone, no way of knowing that I've gotten to the destination or not.
Yeah, now when you think about it, it's like
It's
unreal.
wild. It's wild that happened.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I would just hop on a bus. My parents would just assume that I made it to school and then just assume that I'm on my way home. Like, I mean, obviously we'd use payphones and stuff, but still, like they had no way to call me. It's like only if I had a quarter by me and I could call and be like, yo, I reached.
Also, it was like emergencies as well.
Yeah.
If I would call my mother in the middle of school and she'd be like, something's wrong.
Wrong, correct.
Something's up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so we would just not like text. Like no message was good message. Like
No, yeah. Contact was bad.
Yeah.
Before the agreed to time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you say this, I just remember that there was this one time I was in school and my teacher called me out and she's like, your mom's here. And I had to like walk 2 flights down to go towards the principal's office. And everything that I could think of.
Scenario.
All the worst things. If something happened to my grandparents, something happened to my sister, something happened to her, something happened to my dad. What has happened? I didn't even know I had the capability. I think I was in the 7th or 8th grade. And then when I came down, she's like, yo, we have to go and like get your passport verified. It's urgent. And I'm like, did that just happen?
Yeah. You just went through like an entire saga in your head and it's just about your passport.
Yeah, and I was just like, that happens to me. Imagine to the parents. So it's like no contact was great at that point. Yeah, and also like we used to also call them up to like, can we go to my friend's house after school? That started at an earlier, like later age.
Yeah, correct.
I think that's when she was prepared for. But yeah, I do remember this not having a phone thing.
Yeah.
I had an incident, so it happened in summer and it happened last week as well. And both these times I've been on holiday. So last week no one was working, it was the end of December. And in the summer I was in SF, again on holiday. Both those times I have forgotten my phone at home.
Oh, wow.
Like forgotten my phone at home to a point where in SF I've gone out, like when we're out at the park, I was like, oh, let me click a picture.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh shit, I don't have my phone.
Oh.
And I didn't, like earlier I would look at it as, oh, lack of responsibility or not mindful. Here I'm like, this is great. I love it. The fact that I can forget my phone means that I'm not addicted. Like it made me feel great in that moment.
Yeah.
And here as well as like, okay, when I'm on holiday, I actually don't need my phone that much.
See, like I'm not like that.
Okay.
I need my phone.
Okay.
I do need my phone. The social media part, if it were to go away, if it has to go away, it'll go away, but I need my phone. But I think that also has to do with the fact that I don't live in the same country as my family, so I need constant access to them.
Yeah.
So I cannot.
You'll never forget your phone.
I'll never forget
You'll
it.
forget your bag, but you won't forget your phone.
100%. Always will have my phone, but I will never, I just can't, because I need to be reachable at all times just because of what I do and where I live, like so far. So I need to be able to be contactable.
Yeah.
So that'll never happen.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've also thought of that, but I don't know why. There are times that I just do not pick up my phone.
But I love that for you, that you found that peace within you to do that. But I just don't think I can.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you need it, you need it.
Yeah, because I think I'd just worry too much.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not anxiety, it's just like worry.
Oh, no, anxiety.
Like,
Guys, come on.
it is anxiety.
Of course.
What is your anxiety?
Not being in contact with my family.
So it's like being in control of the situation or knowing.
Just knowing.
Just knowing. Yeah.
Even if I don't get a message, it's like, God forbid, they needed to get in touch with me, and then I was like, la-di-da-di-da, I'm living a phone-free life.
Yeah.
And then they really needed me.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever forgive myself for that. So I need to make sure I have contact with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there are times where I've gone for like a walk and stuff like that, and I've very consciously been like, I'm gonna leave my phone at home. So I get irritated when my mom does it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and I'll message the main four people, like my
Oh, you're
best.
letting them know.
Yeah,
That's different.
Yeah. So then this is now conscious. That
Yes.
was like subconsciously, I
Correct.
forgot.
Yeah.
But like consciously, I have like in 2024, I have tried to like stay away from it. So I would message like on the family group, my best friends group, and like
Yeah, I think that's I can do.
yeah,
Like if let's say I'm going somewhere, hey, I'm about to enter this, gonna be out for 4 hours. Talk to you later.
yeah.
That's fine.
So then you can be phone free that time.
That's totally fine.
Do you enjoy that?
I'm usually working.
Okay,
So if I'm doing that, then I'm usually working, so it's fine.
got it.
You know what I
Got
mean?
it.
Or it's like I'm watching a movie or I've gone somewhere.
Okay.
Some comedy shows, they seal your phone. So I'll be like, hey guys, my phone is sealed. Just FYI, this is, where I'm at in case anything. But just so you know, 90 minutes, I won't be able to be reached.
Yeah.
And that's all.
But how does it feel like staying away from family
Terrible.
for so long?
Terrible. I don't think there's any, I don't know. I can never say it's fine.
Yeah.
I've never resolved that.
And it's been what, 13 years?
It'll be 17 this September.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when you come in, you're like, oh my God, young. I want to like figure out life
Yeah.
and all. And then when you start to hear all the stories and things start to get real, just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
My parents are away.
It's the hardest thing ever. I don't think I've ever felt that pain less in the 16 years. Like people are like, oh, we must be used to it. No. There will never be a time where I'm okay being away from my family.
So how did you make that decision to come here?
I think I was very young.
Yeah.
I was 22 when I moved here. And I truly thought I was going to be here for like a year or two, which is
Same.
every Dubai story. But, it just evolved into something that I could have never imagined. I guess a bit of destiny as well. And it just evolved into something that I didn't know would happen. That's not what I had planned for, but it's what happened. So I had to make the tough decision because at the end of the day, it is my career, which is really important to me. And I've worked so hard for it. So I had to make that decision. And, I'm blessed and very, very fortunate that I do get to go home every year. And my parents get to visit every year. So I'm blessed in that way, Not everyone has that privilege or opportunity to be able to travel to go see their family or vice versa. So I'm blessed in that way. It's never enough, though, of course.
It never is.
It's never enough.
Have you ever had that conversation of, oh, maybe my parents should move here?
I mean, I think maybe I started to think about it a little bit more now, but also like, how unfair is it to rip them out of their world just for my selfish reasons of bringing them close to me? Like I have an older sister who lives in Toronto now, and they're an hour and 20-minute plane ride from her. Like, and they visit her all the time too. So it's like, how selfish of me to rip them out of their world, what they know, their friends, their family. My mom's entire family is there. My dad's family is there. So just to rip them out just to be close to me, It's not really fair. Until it comes from them, it's not really something that I believe, decide.
I remember seeing that April's Fool's joke, which was there this time, where they said, oh my God, Priti Malik's left.
Yeah.
She's moving back to New York. And, for like that, I mean, I think we all knew it was a joke. But for that split,
No. I got several messages. Several. And also several angry voice notes from people I knew going, why didn't you tell me?
No.
Yes.
So people really, really
Yeah,
believe.
because I was in New York.
And
it's a very odd time for me to go home. Like I normally don't go home at that time. So I think everyone was like, what are you doing?
Oh, wow. So I was like, okay, I know that this is, I don't know, because I also follow you. I was like, there would have been some signs, there would have been something.
Yeah.
So I was like, for a split second, I was like, what's going to happen? And then I was like, no, of course it's a joke. So I had to, but what would happen? Like, it's like,
I don't know.
you're like, but you've also like been here for so long. Is this an identity that you're attached to? That's what.
Yeah, I think so. Of course. I mean, when you've spent 16 years in a place, you can't shy away from the fact that it becomes a part of you, and there are pieces of my personality and my character that have been built by this city as well. You know, there's no denying that. There's nothing that I can tell you otherwise. It's absolutely true. But I think we live in a very nomadic world now, you know, where people travel a lot, where people, whether it's within the same state, country, or around the world. And I feel like we just take little pieces of everywhere that we've been back with us. Something stays with you, you know, wherever we go, we like collect something, and it just stays with you, whether it's consciously or subconsciously.
Yeah, it helps you grow. It helps you
Yeah.
evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true. But so at this point, it's like, if you had to do anything else other than radio, what do you think it would be?
Nothing. TV. I'm doing the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course.
I was like, okay, with like social media opening up, so many opportunities opening up, you feel like you would still be
Yeah,
in.
it's what I've always wanted to do, you know?
Yeah.
I would just fight my way somewhere else. Like, it's the
Really?
only thing I know how to do.
And
It's
the
what
only
I've-
thing that feels natural.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this since I was 17. That's a long time.
So 17 when you were in a university, college,
In
school.
high school, yeah.
Yeah, you were in high school.
So I've been in the radio world, in the broadcast world, I should say, radio and TV, since I was 17.
Wow.
So, like, how do I even start to live in a world without that?
Yeah.
I don't quite know what that would look like. Not that I'm not adaptable, but for me, it's a very strange thought to have to grapple with. And if it happens one day, I'll cross that bridge. But if you were to ask me my ideal world and situation, it's either radio show or TV show. It's always been those two things. It's never really been, everything else is like side hustles and I love doing and the projects I love doing, but it's always been those two things, you know?
Yeah. So when I was growing up in Bombay, I think the first radio show that came around was Mirchi, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. And that's when radio picked up again.
Right.
So it was a very big thing when our parents were younger, and I think it just disappeared for a very long time. And then it started picking up again, and then like they were trying to force us to listen to the radio. And of course, nothing great was on TV those days as
Yeah.
well, right? So radio started picking up, and then the ads, and then the RJs, and you would never see an RJ.
Yeah.
It was it wasn't
It's true, yeah.
it was never a thing. You'll always hear about them or recognize their voice or whatever, but you never see an RJ. I think one of the first RJs that I'd seen was Malishka, because she had come for some choreo thing in our college or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wow, like I would never have seen it. So also knowing that it's not just like behind the mic, you are also a personality now. And also radio picking up, like it's become so big.
Radio, no. In this country, radio's always been
Yeah,
big.
yeah.
Since I've come. And
Yeah.
since before, I'm assuming before that too, but at least the 16 years here, radio's always been I would say the most popular medium
Yeah,
in this country
in
because
Dubai.
it's quite unifying.
Yeah.
It's like the version of television in any other country, I think.
Okay, so when I was growing up here, like when I went to like school a little bit, there was radio. It's not like there wasn't there, but it wasn't something that you would like listen to all the time. It wasn't something like
Right.
like it wasn't like a personality. Like right now, radio
Interesting.
is the personality. It
Okay.
is like, okay, we'll listen to the radio, or
Right.
like we'll ask the taxi driver, can you please switch on the radio, the
Right.
best. That wasn't there. It was just like, there is like one
It's
station
running.
that plays like 40 minutes non-stop, and that's great.
Right.
So there was
But
no
also the
appreciation.
variety has changed, right? The number of channels available
Yeah.
to everyone has kind of changed, I feel.
So for me, coming from Bombay, where there was nothing, it started with one, great. And then when I came to Dubai, it was like a constant thing, but nobody paid so much attention to it.
Yeah.
But when I started working, like 22, 23 years old, it started becoming really big.
Yeah.
Like everyone, even who's working at the station, are like becoming personalities.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Because like I was like, these are the people who are building Dubai.
Oh.
So now my question, which I've always had, and I'm sure you get this really often, is that you need to come there happy. You need to come there excited. You need to come there and like pump up Dubai,
Yeah.
to get up in the morning and go to work.
Yeah.
And like what we say in mental health, that if you're having a bad day, like feel it, validate it, don't numb it. But then your job, you can't come there having a really bad day, right? So how do you still so happy?
I think that's not true.
Okay.
I think, listen, every show and every radio personality is different. For us on our show, we've been doing the show together. That's Chris Rossi and I easily for about 14 years. We've been doing the show together. We have grown with the country. They've seen us grow, vice versa, you know?
Yeah.
We are very real with our audience. If something is going wrong, you'll hear about it. We can't play that game because it's unfair. No one is happy every single day all throughout the year. It's just not possible. Does our mood get better once we're doing the show? 100%. I could be walking in, I didn't sleep very well, I'm feeling overwhelmed, whatever it is, walk through the door. Within the first 5 minutes, I'm happy because we spoke to someone and they were just amazing and we love it. You know? But we don't shy away from sharing those vulnerable moments because so many people shared their vulnerable moments with us. And I think it's because we've built this trust that, listen, when something is going on, we'll let you know what's happening with us, and they'll let us know if something's happening with them, you know?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we have seen y'all cry, we have seen y'all do all of that.
We've been through it all on the radio. Like, everything has been on the radio because that's what radio is, right? Like, if you think about someone who's just moved here and if they don't know anyone and all they have is their car and they're just driving to work and driving home and they haven't made any friends yet, sometimes your only friend is the person on the radio.
The same constant.
Yeah, and if that person on the radio is not sharing anything with you, then you literally have no connection with anyone. You're not feeding your soul, you're not feeding emotion, you're not feeding anything.
That's exactly what we say actually about loneliness. So as someone who, deals with a lot of people in Dubai, one of the biggest problems, mental health problems that we do see here is the loneliness.
Yeah.
Because there are so many expats, you can't just make a friend overnight.
It's very hard. And as an adult, it's 10 times harder.
100%. And
Yeah.
you go through, you have so many baggages, so many filters, so many traumas. You need to make sure everybody passes those loyalty tests and all of that. It's a journey in itself. And you'll meet so many people here that can be in a group but still very lonely.
Yeah.
And it comes down to what you exactly said is that connection bit. You can be in a room full of like 50 people and still be alone because you don't have a connection with someone. And that connection is the most important part. A lot of people again come to Dubai because they want to make money, because they are like the same expat mentality, right? Come
Yeah.
here, hustle, make the Gulf money. Of course, do it. And when you come here, your priority is that.
Yeah.
So they put themselves as the second priority, their connections, their mental health, their emotions, they're not top priority. And then at some point you desperately crave it.
Yeah.
And then that burst happens. Then you either trauma bond with someone or you like overshare with people. Then they like, oh my God, what did I do? What did I say? And they crave that connection. They crave that companionship. And you see people coupling up sometimes for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
When you start seeing people coupling up for the wrong reasons, it'll last for a couple of years and then these people will go and cheat.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry I've decoded it so long, but it actually starts from a place of loneliness and not being able to have that connection.
Yeah, connection is so important. Like, just, we go through this world and there's so many people around us and we have no idea what that person went through yesterday.
Yeah.
And, you walk through a mall and just look at how many people are there and you just think every individual has a story.
It's wild.
And it's just insane. Everyone has a story. I don't care if you think it's mundane, but it's a story at the end of the day. And it's really hard when you're coming from so many different places. The language is different. The boundaries are different. What's okay to say and what's not okay is different. It's really hard to find something that kind of fits in all of that. So if we can help by being a bit vulnerable on the radio and share our lives with you, maybe someone who's lonely will connect with that and be like, oh, I'm not the only one who's felt that or went through that. and it'll give you the courage to, try something new or face that or whatever it may be, if that can help one person, we've done our job.
I love that. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Because as I said, this is one of the biggest struggles that at least I face with most of our clients here is just not feeling worthy enough to be vulnerable.
Yeah, I get
It
you.
comes down to that.
Yeah.
Because you're not here to be emotional.
Yeah.
You're here to just make money and like grow. It's like once I've grown, then I'll figure it out.
No.
But I'm like, no, buddy, it has to go side by side.
Yeah.
You can't push this away. And I think people in COVID realized that.
Yeah, for sure. Because you had nothing to do except you and your feelings.
Oh my God, COVID was like that band-aid got ripped off.
Yeah.
Like it took away all the painkillers and everything that we were using. It's like reality hit at that point. A lot of people either went down to physical health, mental health, therapy, just changing like habits or cutting people off, and you could see all that happening.
Yeah.
And even physical health, it plays a very big role.
Huge.
And I've seen that you also have started. It's been what 4-5 years now that you.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of been active, but I've been training with my trainer now for nearly 5 years now.
Yeah.
But I did like a whole transformation last year. To me, physical well-being is a big part of your mental health as well. For me, it is, especially like it's a release. Obviously, scientifically, endorphins, all of that great stuff. But actually, it does make you feel better. Like that's my hour. I call it my therapy hour. Because I just get to focus on me, have a little laugh with my trainer. He's also one of my closest friends. We have a chat. We have a good time. We work out. I can see physically the changes that are happening to me and my body, which then fuels. It's like a cycle. It's like, oh, I'm improving. I'm doing well. It's like, these little things that just kind of carry you through the day, the weeks, the months, the years. And that's how it happens. I think I'm so glad that here, physical health is a huge focus.
Yeah.
Huge focus. Yeah. I think we literally have the most gyms in the world here. We have to. Because there's a gym on every corner. There's like 3 gyms in a row in every street.
Yes.
It's insane.
I didn't think of that, but yes.
We have so many gyms. We have so many classes. We have so many, we have a whole month dedicated to fitness, which literally tells you go out and do something. Like, there's no other place that does that. So I love that, though, because I think getting active is so amazing for your inner soul as much as it is for your body.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Sometimes, I always say this, the biggest secret to your mental health is that mental health walk.
Yeah.
Just go for a walk. Everything is going to become so much better. Like your anxiety reduces, brain fog reduces. Everything that you think like world is crumbling,
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Just go for that walk. Because when you sit down in that same place, you spiral.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yes, the walk is one big thing. And strength training.
Yeah.
Strength training has really
Imagine you are able to lift double your weight. Do you know what that accomplishment does to you? You're like, I just did that.
Exactly.
My body just did that.
Yeah.
And that is if you're not smiling after that, there's just no way.
Yeah, there's no way you're not smiling.
There's no way you're not proud of yourself, whether you shout it out loud or not. There's no way you're not. So it's such a great, great thing.
It really teaches you how to be proud also.
Yeah.
And the ones who don't like compliments, who don't, affirm, who can't give gratitude. It's a hard journey. I'm not saying everybody has to do it.
Yeah.
This whole mental health thing is a hard journey. But there are moments like this, when you've done your best PR or, your best rep and you've done it.
Yeah.
You're proud in that moment.
Of course.
It teaches you so much.
Discipline teaches you how to be proud of yourself, teaches you to respect your body, teaches you to respect that time.
Yeah.
It does so much. So I completely agree.
Physical health has really
Huge importance.
The one thing that it changed in me was there has, as you said, in Dubai, everyone has always spoken about physical health. For me, it was always about cardio. it was always looked at as like women need to lose weight
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
gain weight, or, it was one of those things. Or you don't go to the gym if you're thin,
Yeah.
stuff like that. You only go if you're obese. So that, to break that narrative, and again, only cardio. Because, you've also grown up seeing like Jane Fonda
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that,
Of course, yeah.
right? So it's like only cardio. But then to get that studying in, to get that new knowledge in, and unlearn and learn that, we really need to do strength training now. Because when I'm 60 and I want to pick up a bag of rice, I'm not going to break my bones.
100%.
And that to me was just like, there was something, sometimes your body tells you. Whenever I used to go for these intense cardio workouts,
Yeah.
and these gyms used to have challenges. Also, I had a problem with the way physical health was marketed a while back. I feel like we've just changed it like 4 5 years ago.
Right.
Earlier, it was not marketed in a smart way. It was always like you lose weight, do these
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
challenges,
Yeah.
and then you come back to it. Not sustainable. So yeah, so when I used to do these cardios, I used to do it. It made me feel good in that moment, but I used to hate putting on weight again. So I went back into that negative cycle.
Right.
So it was like, how did you do that? How dare you do that? Why did you do that? So I was like, I started realizing that I'm talking more rubbish and shit to myself versus the proud feeling which we just spoke about.
Right.
But when I changed from like intense cardio to like cardio sometimes, but strength focus, I'm always praising myself. Even if there are days like now, if I've come back from a holiday and I can't push as much, I'll be like, okay, I know I have done it before. The fact that I can even do like 10 kilos now, I know I'm going to do 20 next week. It's
Exactly.
fine.
Exactly.
Because that's like evidence based and this and that. Here, when you see yourself like lose and put on weight, like with cardio, I would just be really mean and rude to myself. But with
Maybe
strength,
you were hungry.
yeah, maybe.
You were just
Maybe.
hangry.
Maybe. But yeah, I've just seen this pattern with a lot of people
Yeah,
where they
yeah, I
put
get
on and
that.
lose weight.
Well, that's the thing. You can't have, you used a great word, which is sustainable. So, fitness, I did a transformation, for example. Great example. I did this transformation, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, I want to do the same thing. I want to do the same thing. And I'm like, okay, you're not ready to do something like that if you're not ready for what comes after it.
Yes.
Because once that, I did it in 6 weeks, I think it was. So if I was intense, I was razor focused, I followed my nutrition plan to a T, I did all my runs, I did everything that was needed to do to get to the goal that I wanted to get to. And it was something that I wanted to tick off my list that I've done before I've turned 40. That's all I wanted to do was before I turned 40, I did this. Done.
Yeah.
But what comes after that is you put the weight a little bit back on, and you have to be okay with that. Okay? You have to be okay with the fact that you're going to be going out, you're going to be doing things, you're going to have your social life again. It's about learning the balance. If you can master that, which is what I do, which I'm doing now, which is I'm happy with where I am. I know what I can do. In the back of my head, if you were to flip a switch, I can make it happen again.
Yeah.
But I'm happy right now. I work out 6 days a week. I work hard. I go, I eat what I need to eat. I take care of what I'm eating. I don't eat trash every single day. But if I feel like going out to dinner, I'm going to go out to dinner.
Yeah.
But that's where you got to get to. And it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard.
I know, because even I have constantly been on that cycle which you're explaining.
Yeah.
That you need to be okay with what comes after.
Correct.
After you've achieved your dream body or like your goal, you are going to fall back, and are you comfortable with that?
Yeah.
And I think I was so young when I did that it was always looked at as that was wrong. That was
Yeah.
not okay.
Yeah.
And as I said, I've had a problem with the marketing of physical health earlier.
Yeah, but it's like you're gonna it's not gonna be cyclical where you're gonna go back to where you started. If you go back to where you started,
There's a
then
problem.
then you didn't learn.
Yeah.
You're not taking on what you've learned in that time.
Yeah.
You'll probably go back halfway. Just a little by halfway. That's where you should be, right? That's where you should be.
Yeah.
And then you have enough room to kind of go back if you need to. But if you go back to where you started from, then you clearly didn't really
Yeah.
learn anything from the journey, I feel.
Yeah.
Almost.
And for me, I was just like, okay, I'm done with this. This is not working for me, even though it worked for a lot of other people. And that was also more confusing because like everybody around me is saying it's great. Is the problem me? Am I the problem?
Yeah.
And then I was just like, you know what? I can't do this. And
It's
then
just not for you.
it's not
That's not your way of getting fit.
exactly.
Everyone has a different way. I don't get runners. Okay?
You just said you go for a run.
I go for a run because I have to.
Okay.
I do a 5K. I refuse to do anything beyond a 5K. I do a 5K once a week.
Okay.
You will never catch me doing anything more than that.
You won't be like, come, let's go for a run.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
On my 1 day a week that
Okay.
I go. If it's anything outside of that, I'm not coming. It's not in my wheelhouse.
I love it.
You'll never catch me doing
It's
that.
not on the calendar.
It's
Don't-
not happening. I'm not going to do it because it's not something that I enjoy. Like, it's not something that I want to do every day. It's not. But there are people who love it, who cannot get through a day without doing a run. That's amazing for you.
Yeah.
Those same people may not enjoy doing weights with me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You just got to find what you're doing. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's Pilates. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's just walks. Whatever it is, you got to find something that keeps you active.
Yeah. So then I was just like, this is it. I'm not doing this kind of intense cardio all the time. It worked for my body, but it didn't work for my mind.
Which is important.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is it. I'm not doing it. And then I moved on to like strength, then moved on to walks. Oh my God, walks.
Beautiful.
Dude, like if you can get your 10K steps in a day,
Yeah, it's great.
that's it.
Yeah.
You're making it in life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I'm like, if these two things are working for me, I'm good, I'm happy. And then I carved my own way. I'm just like, I'm not fitting into a box.
Yeah.
And that's what I really liked. And that's what I really liked about physical health, where there are so many options, as you said.
Yeah.
There could be yoga, there could be like every single thing is there.
And you can do everything. You can literally pick one thing every single day.
Yeah, you
And
can.
it's fine.
You can.
It's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I now like about mental health as well. Like it's not just talk therapy. No, you don't have to be going in for therapy. You can be doing so many other things. You could be journaling, you could be meditating, breath work, you could be talking to so we have like support groups and stuff like
Right.
that. You can do so many other things to make sure that you are taking care of your mental health.
Yeah.
You can even just go on YouTube.
Yeah.
And listen to a documentary.
Yeah.
That's it. That's enough. As long as you're taking some form of control to make sure like you are doing something about your mental health. And again, these are all the journey. It's the physical health formula that we've added into the mental health, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
That's what really like gets me going.
Yeah.
So have you been to therapy?
I've only done hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
I've not done traditional therapy. Is
Yeah,
that what you call it?
yeah,
Traditional
the
therapy.
talk therapy.
Yeah, I have not done that.
But
no.
you do always talk about the hypnotherapy. I've seen so many of it.
Yeah. I think people are genuinely curious as to how someone who was on the radio 10 years ago, afraid of everything that came into the studio, and the butt of the joke sometimes would be, let's try to scare Priti with something,
Oh.
turned into a girl who's in love with animals,
I
so
love that.
yeah, I think people get genuinely curious about that.
Yeah, but like it worked for you.
100% worked. 100% worked. I
And-
cannot swear by it enough.
I love it. And did you feel like you went into a trance?
Yeah, so I did this, I guess, 10 years ago now. It must be 10 years ago now, where we were doing a bit on the radio. I feel like hypnotherapy wasn't really a big thing then when we were doing it. So we found it interesting. We wanted to talk about it on the radio. The only way we don't like just talking about something. We like to demonstrate what's happening. So if you're a singer, we want you to sing.
Oh.
Like there's no point in coming in and saying you're a singer and you didn't sing the song. What's the point? So we wanted Rita to come in and talk to us about hypnotherapy, but we wanted to show what it is on the radio. And obviously the only person that was really qualified for this was me because I have so many phobias. So I was really, really afraid of cats. Like I used to get panic attacks if I saw a cat. Like I just didn't know what to do with myself. It was really hard. So they were like, let's try to get rid of your fear of cats. And I was like, yeah, of course. Like I'm totally down for this. So she came in and she started doing something, but it's like, you can't have so many distractions. Like the radio's not the place to do it. We went over to like a spare studio and she started doing it and I started crying. Like it's quite emotional. And she goes, okay, I can't do this here. You need to come and see me properly. Like you can't, I need to work on this a little bit more where there's not like 100 voices in the room. So I went and did one session with her. Okay, one proper session with her. And what the experience that I had was like, I'm just listening to her. I'm closing my eyes, I'm lying down, and I'm just listening and following her voice. I'm very present, but I'm also exactly where she's told me to be. So I'm in scenarios. She's taken me back to my childhood. She's taken me back to incidents that's happened. It's very vivid. It's very clear. I know where I am, but I'm also present at the same time. I don't know how to describe that, but that's the feeling. I'm very aware that I'm in Dubai. I'm with Rita. I'm at a therapist's office. I'm lying down, but I'm also 8 years old being chased by a dog at the same time. So when we were doing the hypnotherapy and she kept telling me to go to incidents, I kept going naturally to incidents with dogs, not cats. So she just kind of went with it. We kept going to incidents with dogs. It's kind of like a repetition from what I remember. It's obviously been 10 years, but it was like very much like, okay, we're going to go through this again where you were scared. We go through it again and we go through it again. And we kept going through all these incidents. And it was like, I don't know how to describe it, but like one of my best friends here has a dog and it's a little Shih Tzu. It's literally this big. It's like the tiniest thing. I can pick him up with one hand. And I was deathly afraid of him. And I went to her house one day and he was just next to me and I was fine. Wow. Literally after that session. Wow. And then I was like, can I touch him? And I touched him. Wow. And then I just got more and more and more comfortable around dogs. And it just happened. And now I'm a dog owner.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was just that one session that just changed it. And now after having a dog for 3.5 years, I've learned animal language. Yeah. So I'm comfortable around cats now.
You don't get a panic attack?
No. Like it's fine. If there was a cat here, I'd be fine. Yeah. Like birds and everything, it's fine now. Like I'm not that worried.
I love that. Best story ever.
Yeah.
So it helps. Anything, any modality.
Yeah.
It helps.
So I'd say that to so many people. I'm like, go try it. But you have to be open to it.
You do.
It's very different. It's very, very different.
Any form of therapy, you have to be open to it.
Yeah. If you're not opening to receiving it, it's not going to work. Then you're going to come back and tell me it didn't work. And I'm like, yeah, but were you really ready?
Yeah, I always say that about like mental health and compare it to the gym, saying that you can't go in for like 5 sessions and be like, where are my abs?
Correct.
There is like effort and work that you need to put in it. I'm so happy to hear this story.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that you became a dog owner after that. A pet parent. Great.
Yeah.
Best thing ever.
I'm obsessed. I want like 7 dogs.
Yes. I'm sure you're going to get another one.
I'm really trying. My husband is really trying for me not to get another dog.
It's so easy to get a dog, no? Once you have a dog, it's just like, oh my God,
yeah, but
I know everything. Yeah, yeah, exactly. They'll keep each other busy.
Because he's like, oh, he wants to play again. I'm like, yeah, if we had another dog, they just play together.
I love it. I hope he's hearing, Jeff.
Of course not.
We'll cut this clip and send it to him.
Can you tag him in this part?
Yeah, just in this part. Yeah. Please, get another dog.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priti. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for like your time. Thank you for sharing so many insights.
No, of course.
I loved it. I love that 1 hour is up and I didn't even realize it.
Has it been an hour? Oh my gosh, we just don't stop talking.
Exactly.
I hope you got to ask me everything you wanted to ask.
Of course. Firstly, it's a vibe. When we're sitting, we're talking, we're having a great time, it's a vibe.
It started with Bandra, it ended with dogs. There's no better way.
Isn't that the best podcast ever?
Best.
Thank you so much. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for responding to my DMs.
Of course. I try to respond to everything.
I know. You were so great at it. I'm so happy that I can do that. It's also a very Dubai thing. You can just
DM.
you can reach people, and it's like, okay, it's not going to be extremely creepy.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
creepy DMs do exist, so
Yes. Let's
be
not
careful.
get-
Yeah, be
That's
careful.
for another podcast.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much. Thank you for showing up, and everybody knows where to follow you. We're not going to be like, okay, where do you follow Priti Malik? I'm not doing that in this episode. But yeah, thank you so much, and we'll do this again.
For sure.
Are you up for it again?
Anytime, give me a call.
100%. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Like, follow, subscribe, and like, follow, subscribe.
Like, follow, subscribe.
I love it.